Well, let's see, I have a piece of old business and a piece of new business. On the old business, I wanted to give you a status update on the 3 hotels that are trying to get going here. 2 of them, as you know, got county permits and then were challenged in court. And the other third one at the Wells Fargo site over here, it has its neighborhood workshop, which is kind of like they present, here's what they want to do before it goes to the staff for review. And it's a chance for you to get input in. It's going to be in this room, June the 14th at 5:30. It's the Wells Fargo site. Yes.
Are there any preparation materials that you can share with us beforehand?
There's actually a 90-page presentation that the developer put together. And then I have a 1-page synopsis of it. And so I guess maybe what we could do is put that.
On our website, I have the questions and answers that Dave Ballard had provided to us. So you can go to the website and there's a post about the workshop and you can see that there. And so you have a presentation that we can put on the website?
That he submitted to the county as his workshop. He's going to present that day. But you know, it's got like plot plans of what the hotel's going to look like.
Oh, the application?
Yeah.
Oh, that's already posted. That's on the website also. If you look at the posting about the June 14th workshop, you can see both questions, answers from Dave Ballard and his application. Yeah, they're both there.
So SKA and the Siesta Key Coalition, which has a condo council and other entities, have been working on a set of questions that we're going to submit. You can come to the workshop and ask questions. You can submit in writing questions ahead of time, and they have to answer them in writing as part of their application. So just to give you a brief synopsis, it's 112 rooms on 2.15 acres. So it's 52 rooms per acre, okay? That's different than the county regulation, which used to be 26 rooms per acre. Now it's unlimited theoretically. Or it's a lot different than the other 2 hotels, which are closer to 100 to 170 rooms per acre. So it's about half the size of what the other 2 already approved hotels are. It's, I guess I wanted to say that it is going to be 2 floors of parking starting at 10 feet, so up to 30. And then above that, 60 feet of floors above that. There's 6 floors. That's different than it was when he had his workshop a year ago, when it was only going to be 2 floors of parking and then 35 feet. So what he ran into was, many of you know, there's a big tree out in front of that bank, and he was going to cut some, if not all of that down. And the county told him, hell no, move your hotel back. So he said, okay, well, I don't have as much room now, so I guess I'll have to go up. And that's what's happened. There went up and back. So we set it back about an extra 20 or 30 feet. He reduced the parking from 394 to 366, still a lot of parking. And it's still a 7,000 foot restaurant and bar. I guess the only other thing I'd mention is obviously the people who live in Siesta Royale and Gulf the Bay, they're worried about the fact that he's going to tower over their 1-2-story condos and that their fences are inadequate and the setbacks are inadequate. And I know they're getting together to ask questions. We'll be asking the same kind of questions. And I guess the last thing is that since he's submitted his application and has now changed it, as you know, the county is now going to put a roundabout out there. So the roundabout opens about a quarter of a mile north of his entrance and exit. So if you're in his hotel and you're trying to get out and turn left and go north, lots of rock, you know. So I think we're gonna require them, or request that they be required to update their traffic analysis, because most of the people don't think they'll be able to get in and out of that hotel or the trolley, or we'll see what happens there. So it ought to be interesting, and you can look at our website, and we'll try, if we get some more of these questions put together, be able to ask questions about it. But interestingly, he still has on file with the county a comprehensive plan amendment. You remember over the last few years, we've always said the comprehensive plan says 26 units per acre, and you can't exceed that without a 4/5 vote by the city council, which they haven't gotten. And so I don't know what's going to be happening here, but Nancy Dieter and Christian Ziegler voted against that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep working at, that's what these lawsuits are all about. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I did want to give you a brief update on the 2 lawsuits, Lourdes and Jim Wallace's et al. Lourdes is, they're heavy into the discovery period. Lourdes asked the county a bunch of questions called interrogatories. They have to write the answer down and send it back, which they did. Unfortunately, they don't release that to the public, so I'm not sure what they said. And they took Lourdes's deposition for the first time on May the 23rd. And I'm told, just like the interrogatories they sent her, most of the questions are about her standing, that she lives a mile away from the village site, and they don't think that she's close enough. So we'll see what happens there. They are, I guess the lawyers call that an affirmative defense by the plaintiff, by the defendants. They just say, you don't have any standing, you can't bring this lawsuit, case dismissed. And that's what they've been trying to do. Lourdes also brought on another lawyer who is, I think, very good. His name is Richard Grasso. He's been added to her team. He's an expert on 3215 lawsuits like she's filed. His wife is a assistant secretary in fisheries and wildlife, and he's the land use professor at Nova University. So sounds pretty encouraging. I talked to Jim Wallace's law team today about them. He was very impressed with this guy. And he said that there's a good chance that he and this guy might be available to help SKA wade through this 3rd hotel. So we're starting to talk about that as well as our prior experts. Yes, the other thing I should bring up is the Siesta Promenade out there at 41.
Right.
As you know, it seems like they're working on it, right?
Right.
One of the big problems is they're under a court order that if the case that's been filed against them wins and they don't really have the permit from FDOT, that they have to take all that out, all those curbs and entrances and everything. So there's a big risk. The first step on those is standing. And Jim Wallace has filed a lawsuit. The county has just this week replied, and they'll respond to that. And then there'll be a hearing in the Court of Appeals about whether they have standing or not. If they don't, if he has standing, and it seems like he ought to, then they'll go to the Division of Administrative Hearing, DOA. Remember us talking about that? We went to them on Big Pass. It's a big, brand new trial, big deal, a lot of money. But we'll see what happens on that. just because it's summer and it seems kind of quiet, there's a lot going on.
Bob, did you want to talk about the road work and stormwater relief just quickly?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the road work at Ocean and Heidel. And that's been going on. They have it in 3 phases. The first phase is to do the ditches along Ocean. You've probably seen all the big pipes in there. They're gonna, instead of having an open ditch, they're gonna have a buried set of big pipes to move the stormwater away. Then they're gonna work that same thing down Heigel to the Door Academy. And they're also gonna do some work in that road that goes up by the church and also down to the bay. Right now, they're still planning on putting that stormwater into
Yeah, the
Roberts
canal,
Bay,
in the canal.
in the canal.
They're going through water side is where they told me it's going to go.
So
Lotus.
we've been talking with them about that.
Water side it goes.
At least they're doing it in 3 phases and not really blocking the roads off like they were. So seems to be moving along. That's, I think, about all I know about it
Okay.
right now, other than that work up there at the corner is supposed to go on until September. So be prepared. It's going to be.
And be careful, because the traffic there is horrible.
Yeah. Okay, the last thing I'd like to propose, and this is a decision by the board. I'd like to make a motion to the board on a resolution to say that obviously, one of the keys on all these hotels has been they're not taking into account the traffic out here. Is the traffic bad? Yes. So we talked to the traffic engineer, Spencer Anderson, and said, would you be interested in learning more about the model that was put together for those 2 hotels by a guy by the name of Bill Oliver? And they said yes, and in fact, they might pay for it. And so we would like to write a letter from SKA to the county,
I think I saw that.
and it would parallel a letter that's coming out of the Chamber of Commerce. And we talked to them about it, and it would be just to authorize the president of SKA to write a letter to Spencer saying, we support better modeling, so you have a quantitative way to judge the traffic instead of guessing or saying it's already bad, what are you gonna do? Yeah, and it's specific just to the barrier island. It would be a model of Siesta Key with showing traffic patterns now and in the future after some of these hotels, if they ever get built, as well as pedestrians, because we think pedestrians are a big issue. On profit access 5 in the village and across access 12 down by Ascari's Hotel. There's going to be, 300 people a day extra traipsing across those crosswalks. Good luck. So I'd like, is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I sort of did, but, okay, whereas SKA has discussions with Siesta Key and Spencer Anderson about the need for a quantitative methodology to assess the impact of traffic of currently approved and future projects. And whereas Spencer Anderson has expressed an interest in investigating the details and costs of a quantitative model of the traffic, both auto and pedestrian on Siesta Key. And whereas the traffic modeling expert, Bill Oliver, has offered to develop such a model for a fee, paid for by the county. Whereas Oliver is a testifying expert on his traffic model for the Village Hotel in Old Stickney Point, and whereas Jim Wallace, on behalf of Wallace et al., has requested a letter to support for Mr. Oliver's quantitative model of Siesta Key from both the Siesta Key Association and the Chamber of Commerce. And whereas the Chamber of Commerce is considering writing such a letter, and they're going to take it to their legal Chamber of Commerce board shortly. Therefore, be it resolved that the SKA president is authorized to send a letter to Mr. Anderson expressing support for our quantitative methodology to assess the impact of traffic of currently approved and future projects. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion?
No, I think we need it.
You might want to call the question.
Yes. And I will call the question. I would like to ask, we got a second from Jean?
Yeah.
And all in favor, could you please say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, including those on the Zoom? I hear none.
None.
Then we have 100% unanimous decision to send that letter. And I really appreciate that you've done this, and we've also, and we will be sending the letter. If you all know, this is the expert that the Siesta Key Coalition has utilized throughout all of our presentations before the planning commissioners as well. And we have great confidence in this person. He has expertise in barrier islands, has been very successful in Florida, and we feel we don't have that expertise here for us in our county. So thank you all for staying as long as you did and for listening to everything. And it was an exciting and interesting and educational program tonight. So thanks everybody for being here, and we will see you again. I'm not going to do that today. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have some people have interest in elections, but I think you can find some of that on the SarasotaCounty.gov. It has all the current updates for all the people running for election. And I encourage you to look at that. It's just growing every day. So I will then now adjourn our meeting. So you have July holiday. Take it easy, and we will be getting back to you aside from whatever special meetings we have. We don't normally have a formal meeting of this body, but if we have a special meeting from what we've discussed today, we will be in touch with everybody, all of you. Thank you so much.